tonight. If you've tuned in online, I don't see a lot of people here in person, but we are glad to be back in our boardroom. And we'll start this work session with the way that we always start work sessions, and that's with board member comments and reports. And so we'll go to Ms. Mueller and go around this way.
So I had the distinct privilege of going to a graduation this weekend and being able to see 8 graduates of the Greeley Alternative Program GAP graduate on stage at Northridge High School, or in the auditorium at Northridge High School. Mr. Reyes does a fantastic job. I was so happy to be part of that. I have to tell you, the guest speaker was Ruth Bustillos, and she had a really compelling story about dropping out, having a child in her youth. I think she said she was 16, but now she's going to actually graduate with her degree, her business degree from Ames this spring, and planning to go on to CSU to finish out her 4-year degree. So super proud of her and the work that they do at GAP, and just a pleasure to be there. I love graduations. I love seeing the students, and that's what I miss with this whole pandemic. So I'm glad to be back here tonight.
Mr. Hafley.
It is great to see everybody, literally. Thanks for your continued efforts and passion for the district during the course of these challenging times. You know, I've had several phone calls and texts that have been truly excited about, and they're from teachers, about being back in school and being able to be with their students. And they're delighted. They know that they have to take the appropriate precautions with COVID, but they want to thank everybody for rallying for the cause. So it's great to be back.
Ms. Solis.
Just hearing from parents that they're excited to have kiddos back in school, and kids are excited to be back in school. And then also just the excitement around seeing some of the construction and the stuff that's going on, and fixing our schools, making sure that, you know, they're places that our kiddos feel good and proud to go into and learn in. So yeah, just kudos for the community members for helping us pass that bond. It's exciting to go by to the different schools and see the construction going on. So thank you very much to community members, and for having patience with us during this COVID time. This has not been easy, and I know parents have struggled, students have struggled. So just thank you everyone for their grace during this time.
Ms. Pappas.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry that we all couldn't attend the GAP graduation. That is one of the most heartfelt graduations that we experienced. So I'm glad you got to go, Pepper. That's a great opportunity. I too have been hearing from people about how glad they are to be back at school, parents, and I know that I've heard from a few teachers about how happy they are about the Wednesday early release, just having that extra time. So I know that it's a hardship on parents, and just to figure out schedules and make things work. But I feel like this was one of the best things we could have done for our employees right now, our teachers, to give them the time they need to be the best they can be. So thank you for that. We appreciate that.
Mr. Talley.
I want to say congratulations to all the GAP graduates, and great job to all the staff there. It's always amazing when we have any graduation, but it's amazing to hear the stories of our students with the GAP program. I also, like everyone else here, hearing from people how grateful they are that we are back in building, in person. Our kids are super happy. I can tell you my son is very, very happy to be back in school. Super excited when I drop him off every so often at school to tell me about his new school that's going to be built. So he's pretty happy to see the expansion. He's really upset there's no playground, but we're working through that together. So we'll get there, but I'm really, really happy. And I also feel for the parents about the early release on Wednesdays. It could be a burden, and it is a burden for some of our parents, but our staff need that, our teachers need that time, and I know that they are grateful, and of course I am extremely grateful that they are going the extra mile for our kids. It's really awkward. I have no one to look at because there's no one out there, but so I feel like I'm just staring at the same people. But well, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, I don't know if my kids are happy to be back in the class, but I am sure happy that they are back in the classroom. It was the first time in 11 weeks, I think, that on this last Thursday where it was Hillary and I both worked from home for the most part, and the first time that our house was quiet and there wasn't an argument over lunch and who was using the oven or who left something out. It was just nice. It was nice for things to feel a little bit like normal again. So glad that our kids are back, and I want to thank both Greeley and Evans. They recognized us guys. Both city councils did. It's School Board Recognition Month, and so we have. I got to go to the Evans City Council, and it was nice. It's nice to be recognized, and nice to be recognized for the work that you do. So just want to pass that along. Their thanks to you guys, and thank them for taking the time to recognize this board. So.
Mr. Matthews, could I add one thing?
Sure.
I apologize. I have to say how appreciative I am to UNC and that group for the MLK virtual celebration. I know they planned that hardcore throughout the entire year, and to have to switch to virtual this year, I'm sure it was difficult, but it was a great event, and super grateful that our community was still able to participate and enjoy those activities.
Can you pass those around? Thank you.
Our next item in our work session is our events, calendar of events. And so, has been the case, we don't have a ton of events. And I'll let you guys look at those for just a second. But we did have something added to our calendar pretty recently, and that is an all-day negotiations on February 1st. So make sure that you have that on your calendar. And I've seen other things showing up on our calendar later in the spring. Is there a chance, Dr. Pilch, that we might get to go to some schools this spring, or is that?
Well, there's always a chance, Mr. Matthews. What I am hopeful for is that we can, as we manage this startup and we watch the data, that we can actually begin to maybe schedule at least for, a couple of us to go into a building and be nowhere for more than 15 minutes, but get a chance to get into some of our schools. I know you all miss being in classrooms. I know the teachers miss seeing you all dropping in their classrooms, so we do want to try. We're hopeful, but we're still not allowing visitors in our schools. I will tell you that district level, cabinet level administrators, some of us are getting out into schools now. So we are trying to get out there a little bit. So we'll just see how this plays out. If I may, a little bit about Monday's negotiations. I can do it now or in my superintendent comments, whichever you'd
Feel
like.
free to do it now. We've got time.
Okay. We did invite all of you to come in on Monday for a full day. It is a virtual day. It is not in person. We will be with the full negotiations team. So with the Greeley Education Association and their negotiation team, with the district administrators, and then with the Board of Education, assuming that you all are able to be there. We are not opening a full negotiation, I guess is the way I will say it. We came to agreement that during this time of COVID, that probably what's most important for us to do is come together, report out on the committees that have been working since the last time we negotiated, and share that work with everybody on the negotiation team, give everyone a chance to have input into that, because those committees were developed out of our last negotiations. And then the recommendation will likely be that the compensation committee will continue to work throughout the spring, and that committee is made up of our chief financial officer, our assistant super of human resources, the GEA president, and typically vice president, and then they have a couple of members that often assist from their executive board in the compensation piece. So we'll continue to work throughout the spring. We really, by Monday, won't have a clear enough understanding around funding for the state, although we did get a little bit of information today that came out of the Joint Budget Committee. So Megan will probably have a bit of a straw man of kind of predictions around what it will cost to do what we're recommending for teachers and other staff next year. So it won't be a full negotiation like some of you have experienced in the past, but it is important to come together, and we're working with Diane Groves again. She will lead it through Zoom for us. And so I know some of you have not been in one of these. Andy has not been in one, so it'll be new to some folks working in this way, but it will be in the spirit of consensus building and shared decision making. So I hope you're able to Zoom in and join us.
Thank you, Dr. Filch. Well, guys, is there any other, anything that needs to be on our calendar that we're unaware of that's not?
Was
Not
there
on there.
another full day in February, or am I just imagining that?
No, there is another day in February.
There is
It's just not on this calendar.
There is a strategic plan, Innovation 2030 event in February that I will draw your attention to on February 24th. It is in the afternoon from 2 to 4. It's a significant event that lots of community members will be invited to on that day. I'm going to look to Mrs. Crane. Are there other days that we're expecting our school board to come in during the day, Mrs. Crane, in February that you're aware of?
Not that I'm seeing on the calendar, no.
And that one on the 24th will be in person, or?
No, it'll be Zoom also.
Okay.
It's virtual as well with the community. We expect over 100 participants in that day. We're getting a nice response for participation.
The only other full day thing that I see on the calendar is just a notice that the district is closed on President's Day on February 15th.
And has that 24th event been added to our calendar, Ms. Crane?
Notice went out via email, and
Okay.
then I did just add it to the board calendar. It's not added to individual calendars as
Okay.
of yet, no.
All right. Anything else?
I did have one question. I saw, and I must have missed the close reading of it in our e-week, but that we have a Greeley Day at the Capitol coming up. I was just a little unclear on, is that day actually on February 7th?
That was a carryover from last year. It's not happening this year.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, never mind.
It's okay.
Way to pay attention, though.
Yeah.
Any other calendar events? Well, guys, normally we would debrief the work session, but I don't know if there's a need to debrief this one. So we'll go ahead and end our work session. And just if you're joining us online via YouTube, know that we'll be back at 6 o'clock.